What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to CC Media, where it's all about Nintendo. So I recently got to play Luigi's Mansion 3 at E3 for about 15 minutes or so, and I discovered a lot of really cool things there that I didn't quite notice in some of the footage and the treehouse stuff. Stuff that you don't really notice until you actually start playing the game yourself. And so today, I'm going to be talking about all those sorts of things. So I'm going to do a separate video talking about my overall thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3 from the trailers and the direct and that sort of thing. But this video is specifically going to talk about the things that I discovered while playing the game myself. So hopefully for those of you who won't be able to play the game until you actually buy the game, this will kind of give you a better understanding of how it actually feels from the perspective of someone who's actually played the game. Real quick, before we get started, say hello to my new recording space. This is in my Airbnb bedroom. I won't be at home for the next couple months, so this is where I'll be making videos. If you want to hear why, check out my update video from a couple days ago. So I'm just going to be going rapid fire through the little things, the big things, all the things that I realized or discovered while playing the game. First, I suppose I should talk about the main combat system, which I think is the best it's ever been in Luigi Mansion 3. It's the best of the first game and Dark Moon combined into something that's really fluid and natural and fun and satisfying. One interesting thing I discovered was that the whole ability where you can smack ghosts into other ghosts and into the walls and stuff, it's actually one of the main elements of the combat system. It's not some side thing. From what I can tell, it's going to be one of the main ways that you actually capture ghosts. You're going to be doing that a lot, which is awesome because it feels super satisfying and just fun to do. It makes Luigi feel like a true badass. In Dark Moon, they introduced the meter mechanic, where as you're sucking in ghosts, the meter builds up, and then you can press A after it reaches a certain point, which I guess just kind of dealt more damage to the ghosts. I don't exactly remember how it went. In Luigi's Mansion 3, that idea is more fully realized, because once that meter builds up all the way, you can press A, and then that's when you can start smacking the ghosts everywhere. So that's how both of those gameplay elements kind of blend together, if you didn't know already. But yeah, I'm super excited about the combat system. It feels really nice and it's just so much fun. Luigi's Mansion has always felt really satisfying and fun to play, just from a pure gameplay perspective. But honestly, this is the best it's ever been. I will totally admit it. It feels really nice. So much fun. The next thing I noticed was, it's a pretty small thing, but it's also actually probably pretty important, is that the tutorial tells you to use A to use the strobe bulb to stun ghosts. But I actually discovered just through experimenting and kind of messing around that you can use R to do that same thing. You can use the strobe bulb with the R button on top. Which I found odd that that's not the main button it tells you to use that for, because when you're doing that, it allows you to be able to still use the C stick and control the direction that you're facing. Because when you're using the strobe bulb, it locks you to the same direction, regardless of wherever you're moving. Same with the poltergust. But if you're using R, you can still use your thumb to control the C stick and point where you're facing. So that makes it way easier, and that was a little odd. That's something I discovered. Additionally, I just want to mention real quick that the music and the sound design here was really nice from what I could tell. Now granted, I was playing it with Nintendo's crappy headphones on in the Nintendo booth at E3, so I couldn't, there were a lot of outside noises as well. But from what I could tell, the music was actually really nice, and the sound design in general really helped build the right atmosphere, which is definitely a plus side, definitely a good thing. The movement here in general, I think, is probably the best it's ever been in the Luigi's Mansion franchise. It kind of feels like Dark Moon's movement, but more refined, and it really helps playing on a real controller as opposed to a handheld. Like I mentioned, it does kind of stink that it locks you in the same direction when you're using the flashlight or the poltergust. But first off, that's something you can easily get used to, I imagine. I got used to it while playing just the 15-minute demo. And secondly, I think there's definitely going to be an option for that, like there was in the first game, where you can do standard or sidestep movement. I think that's totally going to be an option, because why not? And so, for that reason, I'm not gonna complain. The visual design definitely isn't like the first game. It's still not as dark and, gritty and that sort of thing, but I think that's something we just need to understand and kind of be okay with, because it definitely leans more heavily to the Dark Moon style, but I actually think it works really well in Luigi's Mansion 3's case, because they did bring the lights down quite a bit. The flashlight does actually serve a purpose. And yes, all the objects are a little more angular and wacky, but it actually works really well on a home console experience with the graphical capabilities that allows next level games to really be detailed with designing these worlds. I know I'm specifically talking about my time playing the game here, but from what I can tell from all the treehouse footage and that sort of thing, it seems like each floor of the hotel has such a distinct, awesome visual design. The boss fight was a lot of fun. It was a little bit on the easier side. of things, but I think that's just because it's a demo, and so they probably just chose a fight that's pretty simple. But regardless, I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun with it. The boss is very expressive, very, characterized. That's probably not even a word. I think I'm in the minority on Luigi, to where I think Luigi is awesome, and I think he's going to be great in the final game, but I wasn't completely sold on him in the demo, just because it felt like some of the puzzles involving Luigi were so simple that it was just like, okay, why is this even a puzzle to begin with? But I think that's because, it was a 15-minute demo. I think in the actual game there's going to be a lot more kind of intricate, complex puzzles involving Luigi and swapping between Luigi and Luigi. But I do have high hopes for Luigi in the final game. I think he's going to be awesome. And finally, I just want to talk a bit about the cutscenes and the animations. Now, this is not a gameplay thing, so I'm sure you're already aware of this if you've seen any footage of the game online. But oh my gosh, the improvement from the first initial trailer we got last year to what we have now is astonishing. The game is actually beautiful. It looks so amazing. I think it's the lighting that they improved, the textures also, but like look at Luigi from the initial trailer and then compare him to Luigi from the new trailer at E3. His overalls and his clothes have texture, even I bet there's more polygons. Everything just looks so much more detailed and refined, and I am so relieved. So guys, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on playing Luigi's Mansion 3 at E3 for about 15 minutes. I hope you learned something, interesting, or discovered something to take away from here. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on playing the game because I had a lot of fun with it, and I kind of want to get you guys excited about it too. If you're not already, I'm sure you are, because it looks amazing. Be looking forward to more content about Luigi's Mansion as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned to CC Media for more Nintendo related content just like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.